Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul.
And good evening, everybody, to FE 108.
William!
First in tonight, big 3,500 points. Laura
3,500 points.
At 2,500 points. You two are the first in and first to comment. Good job.
Hello, Laura and Jamie and William.
Good evening, Jamie. Welcome to
1,000 points.
108. 1,000
Right?
points.
1,000 points, Jamie.
Think so. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Well, gentlemen, it is Monday night again.
Well.
Seems like I just did this.
I know,
We
right?
just did it.
It goes fast. It goes
it does
really,
go
really
fast.
fast. That's
How
right.
was,
It's like, sorry? I was just going to say, it's like
ahead.
Sheldon, you know, when they all dress as the Flash, and then
Yeah.
Raj comes in and he says,
Yeah.
well, maybe we'll look like the Flash because if we all go really, really fast.
Really, yeah. Stay right behind each other and go really fast.
really, really fast, he says.
And gone just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah, very fast. So how was your gentleman's week? We just kind of said it went by really quick. So
Yeah, Paulie.
Mhm.
Mine sucked. Next.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold the phone. Last week, I was able to string a few shitty days together. Could I then assume that this week that would have been you?
Mine sucked. Next. My week was
Thanks.
terrible.
Thanks for that detailed explanation, Paul.
Well,
Okay, Cliff.
That's right. Hey, William. William asked, how's everyone doing tonight? Well, as we know, Paul is probably doing better now because, well, his week sucked. So
Yeah.
considering this is, the second day of the new week, I'm assuming he's doing better. But speaking personally, not too bad. Not too bad
Good
at
week?
all. Not a bad week. Yeah, kind of went very quickly, a little bit too quickly for my taste. And of course, January for me is always a slow ramp. And of course, it was ramping up. And I was supposed to be in Kalmar this morning. And at 7 o'clock, my phone blew up with absolutely everybody not being able to get where they're supposed to be.
Yeah. That's how the morning was for a lot of people.
It was rather quite awesome, really. hence,
And-
hence my name, which you don't see now anymore, which is really unique. I never noticed that we don't see our names anymore.
Yeah, I don't have the names on there right now.
No
Oh,
problem.
you
Anyway,
lose
that's why I call myself Cliff and Snow because, well, it was quite snowy, So yeah, but otherwise, good week. And William, while I ask you, William,
Yes.
and make the other William wait, I'll ask William how he is, and then that way you can start typing while I say the other William. Right? How was your week, Mr. William?
It was good. It was decent week again. It went
good.
by pretty quick, and got to see you for a little bit
Yeah, a
in the
little
middle
bit
of the
on
week there, Cliff. And
Yeah, no kidding.
if I remember
twice.
correctly, twice, yeah. If I remember correctly, while we were in our meeting last week, you got a deal with a school, which was a good thing, right in
I know.
the middle of the meeting. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so that was good.
Yeah. Hey, in your neck of the woods there, Paulie.
Oh, which one?
Yeah, Dr. Lila Fallman.
Yeah.
Big school in the Chappelle kind of area.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
What boulevard? I can't remember now. Anyway.
Yeah. Sure, I know where that is, and
beautiful
I
school.
haven't actually ventured over new subdivision.
Yeah, well, 2017 is when they opened.
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
new subdivision. I haven't even sauntered over there quite yet, and you're right, Cliff. It is very close to where I am.
Your neck of the woods, yeah. Beautiful school, and I mean, hats off. Not that anybody there will be listening, but hats off to them for looking at a local company and letting us come and present. Because the moment we get a chance to present, and this is not arrogance, I don't mean it to sound that way, but the moment we get a chance to present, I can present well because I have a great company behind me, and that's
Yeah.
cool. So it was awesome. It's really awesome when a company allows. Bill will echo this. I'm sure you too, Polly, will echo it in all your other endeavors. It's really fantastic when local businesses and local companies want to deal, or at least give the opportunity for local companies to deal with them. I think that is so good. If I had a hat, I would take it off. Yeah.
Agreed. Just hear what the local companies have to say. Do you know
That's
what
all
mean?
I ask.
Give them a chance. Just give them a
If you-
chance.
And then if you can't compete, hey man, no fault, no foul. I wish you luck.
Give
Move
them 30
on, right?
seconds.
Just
Yeah.
give them a chance.
Just give them some time.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody should argue with that. I don't think anybody would. So, but yet I have so much trouble sometimes talking people into even just letting us come to the table, right? But it's so awesome when they do. So even though nobody from that school is ever going to see this, I a big hat tip that they allowed us to come and present, and that I actually got the contract. That's awesome. But honestly, and I say this with all truth, honestly, that is the second thing, because I'll get contracts, obviously. Right? I mean, that's what we do. That's our job.
Yeah.
But it's so cool when a company allows the local competition to come in and present. That's all I ever ask, and I'm sure that's all most people in the local community always ask. So there's both my rave and my rant. So, Mr. Bill, how was your week, man?
It was good, and thanks for that, Cliff. Good night.
We'll be here all week.
Jeremy says, stupid Facebook, trying to get a comment to stick. I want to stay with y'all, but I'm just bushed, bagged, wiped, and done. I love y'all, but bad for me. Well, good night, Jeremy. Thanks for joining us for 10 seconds.
Thanks for coming down.
Hello to Marvin. Marvin has jumped in as well. No, as mentioned, my week was good. Busy, lots of stuff done, and getting lots of stuff, happening and planned for the Ravenwood Music Festival 2022.
Ravenwood Festival. That's right. Hello, Marvin. Hello, Laura.
Yeah, Donna May.
And William Kirkland. What happened to the James, dude?
That's a good idea.
True, too.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Shorten up the name. William says the comments are broken on Facebook for some reason. So I'm not sure. I don't know. That's got to be a Facebook issue, I assume. I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe that's why Jeremy had issues.
Yeah, that required tissues.
Issues for tissues and tissues for
that required tissues. So there you go as well. So, hey, you notice how I tried to kind of have a little bit of segue at the show, top of the show there, when I said, it feels like I was just here. Tried to lead into our topic.
Sorry, dude.
Which was, do you believe in deja vu? Do you believe in out of body experiences or anything like that? Have you ever had anything like that? Not working there, Paul. I understand what you're trying to do.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of believing deja vu. I mean, deja vu is a fact. I mean, everybody. Am I right? You guys have all had deja vus.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
That's exactly what it is. Everybody's had deja vus.
Paul, hey, have you guys seen like the Matrix series, like the old three?
Yep. I haven't seen all of them.
Are you fans? No. Well, if you haven't seen them all, Bill, then obviously you're not a fan. Unbelievable. If you guys don't know, anybody on the chat line here, and anybody who hasn't watched the original three, they're all but fantastic. The third one's a little bit too much kind of all action, and it kind of goes on and on and on and on. That notwithstanding, the story, the philosophy behind it, and all that sort of stuff is just fantastic. And if you watch it a couple of times, 3-4 times, which I never do for movies, unless it's a movie that I'm trying to understand and whatnot, the Matrix is really worth the time and effort. And then they brought out the fourth one, which just came out recently with Mr. Keanu. I can do whatever the hell I please, Reeves, because he trained again for his martial arts and whatnot. I love Keanu, man. I'm a big fanboy of Keanu Reeves, let me tell you. He's just a genuinely gentleman of a guy. And on top of that, he does all his own damn stunts, and he's a pretty good actor. So I have lots of wonderful things to say about him. But yeah, so the fourth movie is just great. And it's funny how that little tiny thing, right? The black cat and the deja vu and what it means in the philosophy of the Matrix is really cool. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, I'll have to do some catching up on those movies.
I haven't seen the latest one. Resurrection, I think it's called, right?
Resurrections. If you get a chance, Paulie, if you don't remember the other three, it's actually worth going back.
Is that right?
Even though my wife and I, like I said, I don't watch movies over again, but I tell you, I think I've seen that one about 4 times now, the series. But we went back and watched it a 5th time. I think it's 5 times anyway, because it's so many years, and kind of refreshed our memory and everything else. And it was really quite cool because there was some sort of further understanding along the way. So it's kind of cool. It's a great philosophy.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think the last, and I think if memory serves, I've seen all 3 of them.
Right.
I know I've seen the first 2. The third one, I think I've seen the third one. Anyway, it has been 20 years. I think I've seen it since
Yeah, if you get a
Yeah,
chance, do it.
quite
If you get a
frankly.
chance, do it. It's by two brothers, right?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
written by two,
the Wachowski.
the Wachowski, but they're no longer brothers, they're sisters. They both transitioned into females.
Oh,
Yeah, and I thought that they would change the story and all that sort of stuff to sort of accommodate, what's going on now and all type of
Mm.
stuff. But
Mhm.
but they didn't. They kept the original story and kind of
Mm.
kept politics and kept all of this stuff out of it. Still there. I mean, it was always a little bit about how we're programmed or we're in the matrix.
Yeah.
It was always a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But they didn't overdo it. They didn't underdo it. And I think one of the sisters, I guess sisters now, not brothers, but one of the sisters directed and put the story together. And it's just, I don't know, it was just such a great show, such a good movie, and great to
Nice.
see Keanu again and Moss. I can't think of her first name.
And
Carrie
it's
Ann
funny,
Moss.
Carrie Ann Moss. It's funny, both
Beautiful,
Canadians,
beautiful
by the
actress.
way. Both
I know,
Canadians.
right? I know.
Yeah, both Canadians. Keanu, obviously, we all know is Canadian. Carrie Ann
Yeah.
Moss is actually a Canadian as well. What I find very interesting is I have heard no reviews, neither good nor bad, about the new one. I haven't heard anything.
Everybody's just
So,
ignoring it because
Yeah,
it's not
well, I
really.
haven't heard anything. Yeah.
Yeah. It's well, I think
Have you
what
seen it,
is.
Cliff?
Oh yeah. I think it's a great
on the new
movie. Yeah, it's a great movie, and what I like about it is that they never sort of capitulated to the political scene. They never did all of that. They really stayed true. Lana, her name is. She really stayed true, sort of through the ideals of the movie,
Mhm.
and the martial arts was just as good. All of it was sort of right there, and I
Right.
was really, how it is. Sometimes you see, especially after a number of years, you see a follow up or a prequel or whatever the case may be, and it doesn't quite match the feel of
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
And
they
they
kinda
usually
lose
get
the feel.
progressively
Yeah.
worse.
yeah, the atmosphere. And when you
Yeah.
watch this fourth one, it starts off about here, and it's slowly, and you think to yourself, oh, this is a slow moving movie, but that's only for about the first 10-15 minutes as it builds, right?
Yeah.
And then you slowly start to remember, oh, hey, this is Neo's character, and Keanu Reeves is just bringing it back, and pretty soon you forget it's Keanu Reeves, and you're back at that Neo category, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so neat. And then to see Carrie Ann Moss and him, how many years later, aged gracefully and well. They never made them look like young punks with makeup or nothing like that. They let them age gracefully. I don't know. I just think there's a lot to like about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
for sure.
correct me if I'm wrong, but Lawrence Fishburne is not in the new one. Correct?
That was one of my only disappointments, actually, to be honest with you, because I really, really, truly like Lawrence Fishburne.
And as do I. And and I can't remember the actor's name, the villain. What's the actor's name? He's in Lord of the Rings. He's in, what's his name? Anyways, is he in the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, he is in the new one.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I tell you what, in the original movies, Bill and Paul, anybody else that is into acting, as I'm sure some of you are, in the original movies, they have the Frenchman, which is Merv. Oh my God. I can't think of the actor's name right now, but he was so unbelievably brilliant on stage, like on the screen. He just literally, he's such presence and such absolute command of his lines and of the scene. It was so fantastic. And of course, they brought him back as well in a totally different role. Well, same role, but different. Obviously, in a different situation now. So good. And one of my favorite actresses who never gets any credit, whom I love to death, and I wish I could see more of her, is I lost it. I'll come back.
Betty White.
No. She's she's I just, as I was talking about her, I lost her name, but she's a French woman, and she acted in the original movies, and she wasn't in there, which I really was kind of sad about. But yeah, other than that, great movie.
Excellent. Well, and Nicole has jumped in. She
Hi,
said,
Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. She said she's had premonitions. I've had premonitions too, she says.
Right.
Thank you, William. His name is Hugo Weaving. Thank you.
That's right. And what's funny is the original Matrix movies, he was filming both at the same time. He was filming Lord of the Rings and the Matrix movie at the same time.
Was he? Oh, was
crazy, man. Crazy. Great actor.
He was doubling up.
Yeah. And
he's also in, he also plays Red Skull in
that's right.
Captain America, I want to say. One of the Avengers movies. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, and by the way, that was one of the good things about, the Matrix is actually designed after graphic comic, right?
Yes.
That's what the original was.
Yeah.
And so it was neat to see something that's still kind of in that genre of the Marvel kind of thing, but not, right?
Right.
Like a story into itself. So it's kind of cool.
Right. And I see they're all owned by Warner Brothers.
Oh, there you go.
Warner Brothers
Oh,
franchise.
okay. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That was
You know-
my tidbit.
You know who passed away this weekend is Howard Hessman, and
Hessman.
this one kind of hit me because
WKRP.
for one of my radio shows on the weekend, the Music Lovin', we use the theme song to WKRP, and it's kind of
Oh dear.
oh yeah we do
Nice.
and it's kind of, and I remember him obviously as Johnny Fever, but I also remember him on Head of the Class. Actually,
That was a
I
great.
quite liked him.
That was a good show, man.
Yeah, it was a good Robin Givens. Mike
I
Tyson
know it was a
on it.
fantastic show.
It was a really, really good show. So Howard Hessman passed away, 81 years old. Kind of sad.
Yeah. Complications from surgery.
Complications from surgery. Exactly. Yeah. He was great. Johnny Fever was so great. What a
I
character.
know, right? He's so good, man.
Oh, so great. So great.
Yeah.
But-
All of that show, KRP it's a classic. Eh?
oh, it's classic. Herb Tarlick and
and Lonnie Anderson and the doorbell.
and it's funny because Herb Tarlick just passed a year ago.
Yeah, not long ago. Yeah,
A year ago. So not even, probably 9 months ago.
Go
So yeah.
Herb.
Yeah,
Funny,
and
funny, funny.
Lonnie and her ding, da 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 ding, da 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 ding, da 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 ding.
Funny
And then
show.
of course, Les Nessman. What a character!
Les Nessman.
My God. I remember one of my favorite scenes. I know everybody talks about the turkeys. I know that. I get that. But if you remember, this is one of my favorite scenes in the world where he's talking about the suits versus the dungarees. It just kills me. If you get a chance, go watch it. And he talks about this constant battle between the suits and the dungarees. And at the end, he concludes, and you know who's to blame for this? Levi Strauss.
Levi Strauss.
It just kills me, man. It is so funny. I love it.
Funny. William says, I'm finding more and more of my childhood favorites passing. So herein lies my question, William. How does that make you feel? And I mean that in all seriousness. Does it make you feel old? Does it make you feel nostalgic? Does it make you feel does it yearn for you to have your childhood back? How does that make you feel, William? Because I mean, again, we could talk about Meatloaf passing away last week, right? And that's again another childhood favorite. So how does that make you feel? Is my question to William. So
Well, yeah.
And Bill, just to bring you back to your topic, my friend. What about you? Have you had any experiences with deja vu or anything of those?
Oh yeah, I think I've had especially deja vu experiences
Mhm.
on a, I would say, a pretty regular basis, where I'll be somewhere and all of a sudden clicks in, and I'm going, wait a minute, I went through this at some other
Familiar,
point
right?
with these people in this space, and
Right.
So I have had that happen. On why, I'm not completely sure, but it has happened in different locations, different places.
It's a very strange feeling, eh?
It is a very strange feeling when all of a sudden you're there and it just kind of pops into your mind and go, wait a second, I remember all of this.
You know what's funny? I don't know if you guys feel the same way or other people who have experienced deja vu feel the same way, but me, it actually disconnects me from the present more than anything. In that moment, I mean, in that moment.
It does. It throws me off a little bit right at the bit, as well. When it hits you, it's like, wait a second.
And it disconnects me from in that moment. It disconnects me from the present, and I find that both interesting and disconcerting all at the same time.
Right.
I'm just gonna roll back to what I said about 20 minutes ago. We can all agree that deja vu is fact. It does happen, right? And my question, I guess, is, does it happen to everybody? I think it happens to everybody, does it not?
I would think so.
I'm sure everybody's had some experience with it.
Yeah, I would think so. I've had it, Bill. We've all. I think it's fact. I think it's. Can I say it's human nature? No, not human nature. Can I say it's a fact of being human? I guess
a human experience, an
human
actual human experience.
Can I say It's a factual human experience, I think. Right?
I would agree. I would
say
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
No, for sure.
So what is it then?
Yeah.
Right? Good question.
Why does it happen? What causes it? What
Good
where
question.
does it come from?
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Laura says, however, she doesn't see William's comments. So William is watching us on YouTube right now. So his comments are on YouTube. That's why you're not seeing them on Facebook, Laura. He's commenting to us on YouTube. Donna May says, yes, Paul, I would agree. It happened more when I was younger. Yeah.
We're talking deja vu, right?
We're talking deja vu. I'm assuming that's what she's talking about. Yeah, but again, that's a good question though, is why does it happen?
And what is it?
And what is it?
And
what is it? That's a good question.
Like that's a I've had that experience where I've actually been so in the moment where I'm like, I guarantee you I've done this before. This is not deja vu. This is I've done this before. And then you stop and think about it yourself. No, you've not done this before.
Yeah.
I promise you have not done this before. And you've not been in this position before. And then you have to realize that it's deja vu. And the times when I've been ultra cognizant of it, which has been a few times, I've always stopped and tried to figure out, it's like, what is it am I feeling? What is this feeling? I don't understand, right? And I still don't understand, but I've stopped and asked myself that question a few times.
Yeah, no, it's interesting for sure, to why it happens.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up actually what it is, and I'm not getting a very quick answer as to what it is. I'm getting a quick answer as to what happens when you have deja vu, but I'm not getting what it is. So yeah, I don't have the time to look it up.
Nicole says something interesting. She says it happens mostly when you've got lots going on. You guys know me, I can theorize about anything. So I can theorize about it, but I'm curious what everybody else thinks.
Well, yeah. So I'm just looking here at another one. So this one says, what is the cause of deja vu? The common factor is the temporal lobe forming the connection between deja vu and the memory. What does this, whoever wrote this, I'm missing some words here. What does this have to do with people who are tired and stressed? Both of these can cloud short and long-term memory. If your memory is impacted, this happens in the temporal lobe, which might lead to you feeling deja vu.
Which lends itself then to what Nicole said, where it happens mostly when you've got lots going on. And
William says busy brain.
And Nicole, I would extrapolate that to say if there's lots going on, you're probably fatigued and or not firing on all thrusters, so to speak. Fatigued, stressed out, which of course lends itself to what Bill just read. But okay, let's back up for a moment. Bill, you talked what you just read. You read on there about memories or whatever the case may be. One thing I'd like to point out, I don't know if you guys know this or have read this or whatever the case may be. There is a pretty good theory out there, which I think more and more people are accepting now, is that when you remember something, you're not remembering the event.
Right.
You never are. You are remembering the last time you remembered it. And it's very
wait.
Exactly. Hey, Paulie?
Say that again.
You don't remember the event. You remember the last time you remembered it.
Wow.
Okay? So I know, hey, right? Like it blew my mind when I was reading about this. So, and this is why I say I can theorize, because I've read a lot about stuff like you guys know I'm a big reader, right? I'm constantly reading. So, so I've formed this little sort of juggernaut in my head to say that if you remember the last, okay, follow me on this, all right, you guys, it's might be a little bit convoluted, but if I remember the last time I remembered something, okay, the last time when I was remembering that, suppose this thing happened. At the time that I was remembering something else, I was in this particular moment.
Right.
So now fast forward X number of years and I'm remembering something, but I'm not remembering the event. I'm remembering the time I remembered it, which includes what was going on at that particular time in my life. Well, maybe what was going on at that particular time in my life has some similarities to what's going on in this particular time of my life. So then that memory becomes convoluted with the actual happenings that was happening when at the last time I remembered this. Are you guys following me here?
No.
No. Okay.
But keep going anyway.
No, but you know what I mean though, right? Because
Yeah.
Paul, let's break it down for a second, okay? Assume that it's true that your memories are not remembering the event, but remembering the last time you remember.
Last time
Okay,
you,
so
yeah.
so let's take that and put that aside.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say I'm remembering a memory that I had with you,
Yeah.
and we were talking about lime and vodka, right?
We can do that.
So now what happens is fast forward a number of years, and one more thing. And let's think now that at that time, right, we were talking about lime and lemon, blah, blah, blah. And Bill was talking about his grandson Beckett, right? So now, fast forward a number of years, I'm thinking about the time I'm remembering the time me and Polly were talking about this drink.
Yeah.
But somewhere in that memory is also the instance of Bill talking about Beckett, right? So now this memory that I'm remembering the time I remembered it has now this convoluted set of circumstances around it. And somewhere in there is something akin to what's happening now.
Right.
And in terms of that, I think deja vu might be something similar to that. And obviously, I don't know. This is just pure theory, right? But when I read that about not remembering the event, but remembering the last time you remembered the event, it was so fascinating to me that deja vu was one of the first things that came to mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you could be onto something there for sure, Cliff.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you definitely could be onto something for sure.
But if you're remembering the last time you remembered it, couldn't you keep skipping back to the time before you remembered it and the time before you remembered it? So let's take marriage. Let's take a wedding day, for example.
Okay.
And then let's take a 30-year anniversary. So you're at the 30-year anniversary, Cliff.
Okay.
You would have remembered your wedding
29 times.
29 times.
I get where you're going. I like this. Keep going.
29 times. So when you go back, so you're at your 30, you're remembering the last time you remembered it.
Correct.
And then you would have to skip back to the time before you remembered it. Not the actual time, but you'd be skipping back 29 times, would you not?
Well, you would, but the way I understand the psychology of it is that the brain is not actually remembering each event; it's remembering the last time you remembered it, right? So assume now I'm onto you what you're saying. It's cool because so now I'm at my 30th wedding anniversary. I'm remembering the time I remembered it 1 year ago. Correct?
Yeah.
So
right, which would have been in the car, and then the year before that would have been at the grocery store.
Right. So now it's all amalgamated. I know what you're saying, Paulie. It's very interesting because now it's all amalgamated in your mind. So suppose, and this is what I'm saying about deja vu, suppose in one of those 29 remembrances, let's use the colloquial thing. In one of those 29 remembrances, a black cat crossed the car, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm driving along and I see a black cat cross the car and it feels like deja vu, but it never actually happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm only remembering it. So in terms of that, like, okay, and I know it gets convoluted and I'd love to thrash it out someday, but in my mind, I always think to myself, ever since I heard that, I always think to myself, maybe that's what deja vu comes from. It comes from one of those remembrances, right? That actually had some
stored in the memory bank. Yeah.
Yeah, that had some intrusion into that memory.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is a good thing, but I think my computer is smoking right now. I'm so confused.
You're so confused. I just think it's such a fascinating theory that you don't remember the event.
But it's also, but you guys, take this. Okay, take this 29 times, whatever this. That's kind of sad if you really think about it, because you're not actually remembering the friggin' event.
Paulie, but dude, the event never even had to happen. It could have been just your imagination.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not sad.
Right?
It's not sad. I tell you what, and this is what we say. This is what we tell ourselves
when Matrix.
Let's take a dive down into the deep. I'm sorry about this, but let's talk about, when you lose somebody very close to you, right? Right? I mean, their memory lives on in your mind, and that's the reality, right? So in all, by all rights and imaginations, the only thing that ever existed of that person is your memory of them. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Just for all you know, for all intents and purposes, that person could have never existed. And they only exist in your memory, and they continue to exist in your memory.
Yeah.
Right.
In your memory.
I tell you what, just one more thing. But before I do that, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the middle of the podcast.
Nice job.
I don't know if you guys have ever read or seen a play or anything like that of Dickens' Tale of Two Cities. You guys familiar with the story at all?
I have read the book way back. I was
a long time ago.
You know, at the beginning, right? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Worst of times. Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Anyway, at the beginning, there's a beheading with a guillotine, right? There's a beheading. So sorry about the spoilers. Anyway, it was written in the 1800s. It's not spoiled.
Sorry, brother. He's telling us about spoilers now in 2022. It was written in the 1800s. Thanks for that. Thanks. We're 200 years too friggin' late.
So anyway, but Charles Dickens, he says it in one sentence, something that just blew my mind when I read it. Even when I was young, and then later on when I was older, he said, it's not the quote, it's just paraphrasing. He said that at that moment, because it takes a few minutes for the mind to die, obviously, right? Because the oxygen is still there. So once you sever the head rolls away, right? But then the head is still alive for those microseconds, right?
Yeah.
And he says, and slowly, an entire universe flickers out.
Right.
Oh my fracking Lord. What an amazing concept if you delve into it and start to think about it, right? Because the entire universe in your head, Paul, and in your head, Bill, is completely and 100% mutually exclusive from each other's and mutually exclusive from mine.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The universe in your head, Bill, is in so many ways the same as Paulie and me, let's say, and yet in so many ways 1,000% different.
Yeah.
So the universe in your head, Bill, is a completely unique universe.
Yes.
To Bill Roberts.
Right.
So when Bill Roberts dies, or when Cliff Smith dies, or whatever the case may be, that entire universe is snuffed out.
Ceases
to exist. And when I read that in Charles Dickens's novel, and I heard it in my head say that an entire universe flickered out, it literally blew my mind. And I thought to myself, that's why this man's in the annals of literature.
Right.
Fascinating.
Yeah, no, for sure. William, who's back on Facebook now, as William James Kirkland, says the oldest vocal audio cassette I have are from my 1972 Christmas, then some from late 70s and early 80s. It's nice to hear voices from the past who are no longer around. That's kind of cool, William.
Yeah, no kidding.
Have those recordings for sure.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
We missed a few comments. There's a few interesting ones from Nicole, I think, talking about. I obviously missed the previous comments, Nicole. Sorry. I wanted to get that Charles Dickens thing out there because it is so unbelievably relevant to this discussion, and I never get to talk about these wonderful things like remembering remembrances and whole universes flickering out. It's an awesome concept, and it gets me a little bit worked up. So sorry, we missed some comments there. I don't know if you want to go back, Paulie, and read any one, but
there's a few.
It would be almost about. I mean, then you could enter into a sentience question, wouldn't you? Or not a sentience question, but you could enter into a sentience discussion.
Yeah, what is sentience? I mean,
what is sentience, and who is sentient, and are we sentient? And if we are sentient, is a dog sentient? And if we could blow this bad boy up.
Yeah, well, they're definitely this sentient. Hey, whoever's near a computer, please look up the exact definition of sentient. That would be cool, and then we can discuss it if necessary. I love it. William James Kirkland says, I wonder what my parents would think of life today. You know, I always think about that, William. That's something I actually wonder a lot about, my mom, God rest her soul. She died in 1997. She was 75 years old. She was born in 1921, the same year that the first radio station ever came about in Philadelphia. And you folks as radio people should appreciate that. The first radio station ever in the world was in 1921 in Philadelphia. And I always think to myself, my mom was born in that year. And just imagine what she went through in those 75 years. And can you imagine if she was still alive today, what she would have been through in the 100 years?
Oh, big time.
Can you imagine, right? And I was reading just recently about a Japanese individual. He just died before his 113th birthday. I mean, can you imagine what he's lived through? Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
About
2 world wars.
And not only that, like if you talk about my mom, it's a little bit different because she was in three different worlds, right? In 3 completely different worlds. So she's experienced something vastly different than, let's say, a person who stayed in the same town for those 75 years, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's funny because on one of my radio shows on the weekend, I just played for my kids Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire," and for those of you who don't know, he wrote the song in 1997, and he wrote it because of I believe it was his 40th birthday, 1947 to 50th birthday, 1947 to 1997. And he wrote it as part of everything that happened in his life from 47 to 97. And that's, Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray. You talk about Joe DiMaggio, you talk about everything. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating what can happen in 50 years, in 50 years. Block and it's fascinating. And if I could just say one more thing. Speaking of 75 years, Cliff, if I may, 2 days from now, on February 2nd, is my mom's 75th birthday.
Yay!
Yes.
What's her first name?
Joan.
Happy birthday, Joan.
Happy birthday, Joan.
Known as Paul's mama.
Paul's mama.
Paul's mama. Can I say a very happy 75th birthday to my mama coming up on Tuesday, Groundhog Day? I love you, mama. Happy 75th. Happy
birthday, Joan. We wish you the very best. And we thank you for bringing this lovely Podlie to our attention. He's a good dude, and that obviously has something to do with you. So we appreciate that, and we wish you a happy birthday.
When he reads the fine print. I looked up sentient. So it says the meaning that just popped up right away was able to perceive or feel things.
Right. Okay. So in that case, Podlie, dogs, rats, mice, ants, right? So that's anything that is non-inanimate would be sentient, right? So, but I think there's more to that, Bill. I don't know that there's probably more meaning to that. I think sentient has something to do with also consciousness, because I don't think a plant can be considered sentient.
Right.
Yeah. And I just found another one here. What is the meaning of a sentient being? A sentient being is one who perceives and responds to sensations of whatever kind: sight, hearing, touch, taste, or smell.
Okay. That's funny because by that definition, plants would be sentient. I don't know. Maybe somebody can look that up. Are plants sentient? Because by that definition, plants do react to their environment, right? Are you guys familiar with the sensitive plant, the mimosa? You touch it, it folds its leaves up.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. A Brazilian rain tree. I have one right in the other room there. A Brazilian rain tree. The moment it rains, it closes its leaves.
Right.
Right. Because the canopy is so dense that if it leaves the leaves open, no moisture, no rain gets to the roots. So when it rains, the Brazilian rain tree closes its leaves so that rain can get to its roots.
Right.
Right. So by that definition, are plants sentient?
Sentience, yeah.
Well, yeah, and here's another one. Are humans the only sentient beings? Humanity is not, and they have "not" in capital letters. Humanity is not the only sentient aware species on the planet. Just because humans cannot communicate with another species does not mean that two of the same species are not sentient with each other. If water could be considered a species, it would be far more sentient than humans or any other species on the planet.
That's awesome. Hey, one of my favorite questions of all time is water alive?
Well,
and I'm not talking about bacteria, Phil. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, is water alive. Just think about it, right? You know, the old when the river goes by, it's not the same water. Well, then what is it? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And man, oh man, I love that. I love thinking about that.
Kind of to your point, Cliff, like the one that's always been plaguing me is, where does sentience start and where does it end?
Hey, that's the age-old question, Paulie Wally. That is the question, my friend.
I'm,
yeah, because you know what, everybody talks about Darwin and the theory of evolution and all that sort of stuff, but they never ever talk. And even is what's really funny to me is that Darwin's book is called The Origin of Species. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Evolution is indeed the origin of different species. I get that part. But the connotation, when you think of that name, the origin of species, the connotation is that we've discovered how we began, how life began. But the fact of the matter is that is still a mystery, that we don't know how life began, right? The Big Bang Theory is just that. It's a theory. And it's never been proven. And any scientist worth their weight in gold will tell you that a hypothesis has to be proven in order to become something other than a theory. And that has not been proven as much as people like to think it has been. It has not been. So, Paulie, that is the age-old question. Where does life come from? And once life has arrived, when did it become sentient? So that's the timeline, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah. No, for sure.
Those are the big questions, my friend.
And they also have a list here of what is the most sentient animal. So they're saying researchers have found that dolphins,
elephants,
are crows, elephants, and pigs.
Elephants and pigs, yeah. Crows are remarkable. Dolphins are remarkable. Elephants are fracking unbelievably remarkable. And of course, dogs, we all know. I mean, and humans being at the apex of that, of course, but. If you guys ever want to hear a wonderful
nothing on that list about penguins, eh?
Nothing about penguins.
Yeah, I do know that penguins, from reading a meme earlier today, I do know that female penguins actually exchange sex for nice rocks.
What were you reading?
What books are you reading?
What are you reading there, Cliff?
It was just a Facebook meme. That was kind of awesome. I kind of laughed my ass off at that one. Yeah. So, if you guys are ever actually interested in a really seriously wonderful discussion about, Darwin and whatever, there's a fantastic discussion between three people. I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but it actually challenges the Darwinian mathematics. And it's very intelligent. It's absolutely a riveting discussion between these three people. And, one's a philosopher, one's a computer engineer, and one's a religious person. And the main discussion that happens is so fascinating. It's just, I love it. It's just thrilling for me to hear it. So if you guys are ever interested, let me know. I'll be happy to pass it on.
Yeah. Sounds good. Nicole just jumped in. William jumped in before that, said grass is sentient. The smell grass gives when freshly cut is a cry out from help for what I've read in articles.
Interesting. Hey, I tell you what, man, I have a fig tree in my living room, and if you cut that, it bleeds milk, right? And that milk is twofold. I mean, you can call it tears, or you could call it the protective, just like blood, right?
Yeah.
Where you bleed and then it clots. Well, I tell you what, if you cut my fig and don't do anything, it bleeds white sap, and it slowly does basically scab over, right? So,
well, we won't cut your fig, Cliff. Don't worry.
Don't do it. And Laura says, Cliff, if you do find it, post it to the page. Laura, if you're talking about that discussion that I talked about between the three people, I'd be happy to do that. I can find it. It's in my list. I've watched it 3 times now. I find it one of the most fascinating discussions ever because, like I said, it's a computer engineer, a philosopher, and a religious person. And then, of course, there's a host. And the discussion is just so nice. It's just such a nice discussion. I love it.
Yeah, put the link up there, Cliff.
I will. Cool. And then maybe we can discuss it sometime.
And we can have a discussion about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is the host James Corden?
Sorry?
Is the host James Corden?
I think so.
I don't know who that is.
No.
No, I don't think so. Sorry, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Johnny Carson.
Johnny
Nope.
Carson.
No,
Dinosaur.
the Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube page
YouTube?
or channel is called Uncommon Knowledge. So I even like
Yeah.
the name.
That's got a good name. Uncommon
know, right?
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to know what the depths of a cell can do, we've been really deep into Corona, and
Mhm.
some of you, I don't know, maybe some of you know how the spike protein is created and what the vaccine does, but not just what the vaccine does, but then what happens after you have the vaccine, and the spike protein that is created and how it actually drops down into the cell because it's lipid. They coat the molecule, the spike protein molecule, with a lipid that actually fools the cell. It actually what do you call tricks the cell into allowing it in, or else the cell would not allow it in. So
Right.
the cell, a lot of people think is just this little molecule, little globular thing, right? But what people don't perhaps know is that the cell is probably one of the most complicated things ever to exist.
Right.
And that's why it knows to not accept something. And that's why we in science can fool it by putting lipids around it in order for the cell to accept it. Anyway, there's a guy, I can't think of his name. He talks about all the things that a cell does and how it interacts with each other and so on and so forth, and the programming and yada, 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 and how your entire DNA is in that one cell. The entire program to create you is in every cell. It's so fascinating. It just blows my mind to listen to it, right?
Yeah.
I still suggest that the most difficult thing to understand is a woman. Quite frankly. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Now that could be taken as both a positive and a negative.
I'm just
There you go.
I mean, physics is hard to understand, but I love physics, right? Physics is awesome.
the cell and the woman.
And the cells in
Very
the woman.
difficult.
And the cells in the woman.
Very difficult.
Yeah. You might have to sell some people on that poll.
That's right. Bill.
Well, I've sold William on it.
Yeah, William says he agrees.
Nice.
Nicole just commented. She had commented a little bit earlier about a movie. There's a new movie that's about a dog that keeps coming back to the same owner in different dog bodies, and that movie is called A Dog's Journey.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There you
I'm
go.
sorry,
Donna May says, Paul, that is
You're not
because
listening,
you're
Paul.
not listening.
I'm sorry, Donna May. What? What was that?
How'd it go, Donna? I agree. See, right there. Slam.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. It doesn't take much for somebody to come back and get on you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all kinds of fascinating things out there, guys. It's amazing, actually. It blows my mind.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I just found that channel, Uncommon Knowledge.
Uncommon Knowledge. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So I can't think of the name of the actual episode. I'll find it and post it. But anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I see there's a whole bunch of different episodes on here. So
Oh, there's 1,000 episodes on there.
Overcome the fear of the dark. 7 steps to self-belief. How to pass your driving test.
Ha! There we go.
Uh-huh.
It's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, I'll post a link to that, and it's about a 45-minute to an hour discussion, and it's between the philosopher, the mathematician, or computer programmer, which of course is a mathematician. But these are all up-level people. Like, these are not some slouch, Podlie podcaster guys. These are actual PhDs.
What?
What? Yeah, these are actual PhDs.
We're just slouches now.
We're just three schmucks talking about this. Actually, I should speak for myself. I'm just one schmuck talking about this. Oh man.
Well, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of topics on this page for sure.
Oh yeah, there's 1,000 of them. Yeah, all different kinds. Yeah.
And
everything. They delve into religion, they delve into philosophy, they delve into all kinds of things. So
yeah, it says there's 174 different videos on here.
Holy criminy. That's crazy.
Yes. That is lots.
Yeah, I'll find that episode anyway, and those who are interested can watch it. But it's fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is. I'd have to look at it closer. But
yeah, I can't think of the name, Bill. I'll post it.
But yeah, for sure. All right, we're down to about 9 minutes here, gentlemen. Donna says, Cliff, didn't you get your PhD from the Cracker Jacks box?
Possibly. Hey, I tell you what, though, Donna. Yeah. In fairness, though, Donna, I've read so much that I've probably read more than any university student. Not any. I shouldn't be that. Yeah. I don't mean it. Yeah. Hyperbolic. I shouldn't be that hyperbolic. But frankly, I've read so much that I've probably read enough that would be on par with a PhD student in any university. But of course, it's been vast, different topics, right? Whereas a PhD would go for one topic. So anyway.
Right. Yeah. Carl Sagan, William James Clerkland says Carl Sagan has some interesting conversations to watch on YouTube.
Oh, fantastic conversations, man.
Sagan,
yeah, Carl Sagan's fascinating to watch. And it's funny, William, because he talks about obviously the theory of evolution and where we come from and all these wonderful things. And when you dig down deep into what Carl Sagan says, you pretty soon realize that he's in the same boat as all of us. He doesn't know either, right? but he likes to explore things just like Einstein did, just like
he explores his own theories.
Yeah, just a lot of these philosophers do, and mathematicians and computer model people do. So I have a lot of respect for Sagan, and I love reading and learning, all the stuff that he brought to the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Marvin popped in. I've been stuck on drone vids on YouTube lately.
Nice. And they're awesome, man. And Nicole says, I like this, Nicole. She says, wow, such a quick wit this evening. Sorry, spelling is off today. Hey, Nicole, that's awesome.
Quick-witted.
Yeah, quick-witted. And I tell you what, those are discussions of my choice. I would love to have every Podlie podcast go absolutely nuts about things that we don't normally talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't it all start with Lucy?
In the Sky of Diamonds?
Actually, Nicole, that was kind of debunked, to be honest with you. Up until 1965, they thought Lucy was the actual beginning of all things, and she was the first being and blah, blah, blah. But I think, don't quote me on this, never quote me on anything on this show, you guys. Everything I tell you, I don't have a computer in front of me. I don't Google. It's all coming out of my... yeah, exactly. It all comes out of my big fat head. So don't trust me on anything. Google it. But if I remember correctly from things that I've read in the past, Lucy being the first, who was considered to be the first human being and blah, blah, blah. I think that was debunked, to be honest with you, back in 1965. But I could be wrong. Go look it up. Mm-hmm. What about you guys? Have you guys heard about Lucy? Do you love Lucy?
We love Lucy.
I love Lucy.
I love Lucy.
Sky with diamonds.
Yeah, that's what I said. Lucy with the Sky of Diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah. William says Lucy was the first proto-human. I think that, like I said, William, I could be wrong, but it seems to me that was actually debunked. But anyway.
Well, yeah. That's why you have to Google on some of these things. But yeah.
But Google lies too. So
Google.
yeah,
it does.
Trust me. Yeah. Lucy, that was Scarlett Johansson's movie. There you go.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing is, I see a lot of things being debunked, but never anything being bunked. Right? I mean, I would like to see information that has been actively bunked.
Yes. Yeah. Bunked. There it is. That's the word for the night. Want to see something bunked.
I want to see something bunked.
Yeah.
Right. Like Podlie right now, he's looking very unkempt. Bill, on the other hand, is looking very kempt.
He's got Paul's got the hair, the Einstein hair happening again tonight.
Yeah. So between Bill being kempt and us finding something that was bunked,
I want you guys to bunk the fact that I look smart.
Nicole says taking apart theories. I love it, Nicole. I absolutely love it. Yeah. Hey, I will post that video, and those interested, listen to it. Like I said, it's a good hour, 45 minutes, an hour long. But it's really cool because they just discuss it as a discussion. Nobody's yelling and screaming and, you're an idiot because you're an atheist, or you're an idiot because you're a religious person, or blah. None of all that stuff. It's just a nice, good discussion, and I love it.
Nice. Well, we'll watch for that link.
Okay.
We'll keep that in mind.
And Laura says the word of the day. I think we should do that on a regular basis. My place used to be the party kind of place when some number of years ago, and every party sooner or later, one word would rise to the top. I remember one year, thanks to Volkswagen commercials, it was Farfignugan. so the word of the night. Well, we were singing karaoke a lot, and we'd mimic Sesame Street, where you go near and then far. So at 5 a.m, me and some friends would be waking everybody else up, going near and then far. And then from then, somehow we translated into Farfignugan, and that became the word of the night. So I'm with Laura. I think every Podlie podcast, one word should rise to the occasion and become the word of the night. So tonight, it's bunked.
It's bunked. There you go. There's the word of the night. And, well, and at least it's not the day that you usually talk about during the week. Nobody's brought that up yet tonight.
Nobody's brought that up yet. That's right.
Yeah, that one particular day. So,
and Carrie Kentner. Hello, Carrie. Welcome to the Podlie podcast again. Nice to see you back. Too bad you took so long to get here. You should get here earlier next time. I'm just torturing. Anyway, she said, I'm tired of that word. What word? What word? What word are you tired of? Farfignugan. I like what Donna says, eh, Bill?
Yeah. What was that one, Cliff?
Saturday.
Oh, Paul.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Paul.
when are we going to do another marathon? That was fun.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to be the 200th episode?
So we're not doing like one in every.
We got 95, 94 more to go.
And Nicole, Saturday.
Oh, Paul almost choked on his coffee or whatever he's drinking there.
Gary, I'm still trying to find out what word, dude.
Yeah, one word. Well, unprecedented.
And Laura says, I love Grover near and far. Absolutely, Laura. I'm telling you, 5 o'clock in the morning, all the people that had drank too much and fell asleep, not much earlier than 5 o'clock. Me and my friend Lynn, we woke them all up with that near far. So ridiculous. I love it.
Nicole says, as Paul cringes on the floor in the fetal position.
Right. So William James says unprecedented. And Kari says unprecedented.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess maybe that's the word.
Maybe that's the word she doesn't like.
Maybe that's the word of the day.
Yeah, maybe.
No, no. Bunked is the word of the day.
Bunked. That's what I say. I agree.
Bunked. All right, there, Mr. Cliff, we got about a minute and a half left.
Oh my God, look at that. The time went. All right. It's funny, right? When this started, I was going to give you guys fair warning. I've had way more of my share of coffee today than I normally do. But now I don't have to give that warning because you probably figured out, considering how fast I talked through the whole bloody hour.
Wait, what? You talking in this?
What's coffee?
So you guys, thank you for showing up. MLM Must Listen Monday. It would not be the same without you guys. So thanks a lot for showing up. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the interactions and the comments and the fun. Let's diss Jeremy behind his back because he left us. Way early. Unbelievable. Blows my mind. No respect. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield here.
Yeah, you can't get any respect.
That's right. Well, thanks for showing up, you guys. Much appreciated. If you can, next time, bring a friend or share this podcast via Messenger. And of course, if you're not watching it or listening to it live, Mr. Bill,
you can listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts, and to 10 o'clock on Friday nights, soundsugarradio.com. You can hear the replay right there as well. All right, everybody. It has been fun. It's been a interesting evening again. We'll be back next week with episode 109.
Wow, 109.
We'll get bunked, everybody.
Yeah, have a good rest of your week. Bunking.
Stay happy.
See you all later.